Hey guys, welcome to my summer 22 vlog, part 1. So to give a bit of backstory, this entire series is actually a collection of clips from all the countries I visited this summer. Unfortunately, I wasn't smart enough to actually vlog, as these clips were just meant for my own personal viewing, but I decided to go ahead and upload them for anyone who's curious to see, and for those who plan on traveling to these places. Part 1 takes place in Hungary, Poland, and Romania, Romania being where I spent the most amount of time. It was all done in a week, so now that we got the background information out the way, let's continue. So the first stop on this trip was Budapest, which was an extremely beautiful city. I managed to get a last-minute Danube River tour for about $10. Unfortunately, I wasn't here for long as I only had a 6-hour layover in Budapest. So what you missed is me recording the flight from Budapest to Warsaw. However, what you do see is my flight from Warsaw to Bucharest, which was delayed by 3 hours, by the way. Horrible. By this point, I was awake for about 22 hours and needed sleep desperately, so I ended up missing out on half of my first full day in Romania. So this was my second official day in Romania, and as you can see, I got myself a haircut. I wanted to try this new thing during the summer where I get haircuts in every country I visited. This here is the Parliament building of Romania. It is way better to see in person than in pictures. This next place is called Boulevardul Unirii, or in English, Union Boulevard. This is an extremely beautiful area to go to around sunset, especially after a huge thunderstorm that had rolled through the area that day. I decided to end the day with a regional beer called Timișoara, named after the city Timișoara, that is considered the top 2 beer in Romania. So here we are, day 3, and this is footage of the elevator in the building I was staying in. I just had to record it to show people back at home how retro this elevator really was. I didn't really do much this day. However, I did end up at the biggest park in Bucharest called Parcul Tului, or Youth's Park, which is a nice park to just walk around and sit on the bench and relax at. A few days prior, I booked a tour to visit Pelish Castle and Dracula's Castle, with a stop in the middle in the city of Brașov. The ride to actually get here was actually quite beautiful, and it took about 2 hours to get there, and during that time, me and the tour guide just spoke about life in general. He was a very cool guy. The first stop was Pelish Castle, which was the home of the Romanian monarchy, or at least I should say their summer home. This wasn't their permanent home. It was extremely nice and it was extremely grand. I believe this castle is around 150 years old, and it has many paintings and a lot of architecture throughout the castle that was very unique to this particular castle. Here is the outside of the castle, with some of the most breathtaking views I've ever seen in my life, all located within the Carpathian mountain range. Next, we arrived in Brasov, a city so beautiful I would consider moving here in the future. My phone camera honestly doesn't do this city justice for just how beautiful it is here. The city was an hour north of Pelish Castle. Here is the smallest street in Brasov called Strada Sfori. We then arrived at the Piazza Svatole, where we explored the area and ate for 1 hour at a local restaurant. Soon afterward, we left for Dracula's castle and took around 45 minutes to arrive. The castle overall was nice, but between Pelish and here, Pelish Castle wins every time. From there, we took the 3.5-hour journey back to Bucharest. I would recommend this tour 10 out of 10 if you ever want to come see Pelish and Dracula's castle. The tour cost was around $40 for an entire day of touring around, and I booked my tour via getyourguide.com. If you want to know the specific tour I did, comment down below, and I'll be happy to give more information. This day was unfortunately my last day in Bucharest, as I would be heading to Brasov the very next day. First thing I did that day was visit Dumitru Gusti, which is the National Village Museum located in King Mihai I Park. Unfortunately, I got almost no footage from here, but do have pictures to show at the end. I was only able to visit later in the day since half the afternoon was severe thunderstorms, a common occurrence every early afternoon in Bucharest. At nighttime, I attended a bar crawl in the old town of Bucharest, as that's where all the clubs and bars are located at. This ended up being one of the most chaotic and interesting nights to say the least, whether it was getting left behind by the group or witnessing a fight break out within the group. Overall, it was a night I won't forget. Shout out to my boy Roberto, who I met that night, an absolute legend. So here you can see a tour of the Airbnb I stayed at when I was in Bucharest. Nothing too special, but it was pretty nice and quaint. And here you can see a tour of my Airbnb in Brasov, which was extremely nice and had extremely good views. What you don't see is the journey I took from Bucharest to Brasov, which was a 3.5-hour train. To end the day, I walked on the trail in the mountain called Tampa, which is the mountain that overlooks the entire city of Brasov. The very next day, I took a cable car ride to get to the top of Tampa, and the views were breathtaking. At night, I got some food to eat and headed home. This last day was bittersweet for me, as I had grown to love Romania and hope to one day visit back again. Like per usual, I didn't record my journey back to Bucharest, so let's just skip to when I'm on the plane from Bucharest to Warsaw. To give my quick review of Warsaw, the city surprised me quite a lot. It's an extremely modern and diverse city. Unfortunately for me, I had a 12-hour layover at night here, and did just about everything you can do during nighttime. I even made some Dutch and Saudi Arabian friends living in Warsaw. Side note, however, a thunderstorm rolled through Warsaw before I arrived, crazily enough leaving behind an extremely cold and humid temperature during nighttime. I ended up not filming my flight from Warsaw to Budapest as I was beyond tired at that point, but I did manage to record one clip from Budapest back to New York.